No, mate, 40 here. I was just chatting with a friend and I told him I had a strong emotional reaction to parts of the New Testament. He reprimanded me. He said you shouldn't just have an emotional reaction. You should have a cognitive reaction. You should have a philosophical reaction. You should have a theological reaction. I said, where did I say I only have an emotional reaction to the New Testament? He quoted back to me where I said, I've got a strong emotional reaction to this. If I say I've got a strong emotional reaction, that doesn't mean I don't also have a cognitive reaction. Doesn't mean I have a reaction in just one dimension. Like anyone who has any level of self-awareness and has any element of normality in his upbringing has both love and hatred for his parents. And so if a normal person says, I hate my mother, that doesn't mean he doesn't also love his mother, respect his mother, feel gratitude for his mother, has contempt for his mother in this area, respects his mother in that area, right? Things are complicated and people just want to seize and simplify reactions and thoughts, and it's ludicrous. And so Reasonable and Responsible, I think, aka Autistic Merit, commented on my decoding of Anthony Cumia that how could I find his antics amusing, like the ones where he promotes, women having intercourse with zucchini. Okay, so just because I find those antics amusing doesn't mean I don't also find them nihilistic and morally reprehensible and not a good idea and unholy, all right? So one can simultaneously laugh at something that one finds appalling. Right? I find having anonymous gay sex, in public restrooms appalling. I find having, anonymous gay sex in public parks, anonymous or not anonymous, having sex in public where, other people, innocent parties could walk by. I find it absolutely appalling. Doesn't mean I don't also see an element of humor in it. So yeah, you can laugh at all sorts of things that you have contempt for and that you regard as bad, destructive, unholy, contrary to the spirit of Torah. I remember once I told my therapist about how my girlfriend would implore me to F her like a whore. And my therapist just broke into uncontrollable laughter. Then afterwards she was deeply ashamed and she said I could never talk about such explicit matters again in therapy. Okay, so she had an uncontrollable laughter reaction. And I often have an uncontrollable laughter reaction, or I don't try to control my laughter reaction to something that might be reprehensible or unholy or not ideal or deviating from the precepts of Torah or the precepts of the Constitution or the precepts of John Locke. So come on, man, people are complicated. People have complicated and contradictory emotional and intellectual reactions to things. This is the postmodern world where one narrative is insufficient to deal with the complexity of the situation before us. And that's the postmodern, the simplest meaning of postmodern, that no one narrative is sufficient to communicate what's really going on.